Are you prepared for when the lights go out? Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. On the theme of lanterns, I have purchased another one. Now this one's a really good bargain. £7 this cost. I thought that was great. What a bargain that is, £7. And I know people are struggling at the minute with, bills and things like that. And inflation's just ridiculous at the minute. But I like to be a bit different than other channels. I like to source out other little cheap bargains and things that pretty much do the same thing without, spending all that ridiculous amount of money on, things that are just you're paying for the name really. And I'm always up for a bargain, as I'm sure you guys are. And this has come to light, literally. It popped up in my sale search, and I thought, oh, that's pretty nice. Comes in a couple of different colours. So it comes in black and green, which is pretty nice. I went for the green one because I just like green stuff. I think it looks cool and it just seems to set the mood of everything. A couple of things on this box. Cob or COB, don't know what that means. Obviously gives all round light. Again, 18650, love them batteries. You all know that I just rave about them batteries. They are good for pretty much everything. Great power source they are. And all the other symbols are pretty much the same. I don't even know why they've put them symbols on. As you can see from the box, pretty decent box. Usual what you get on them: solar panel, wind pole light, adjustment. So I'm assuming that's basically just a dimmable switch. Again, Type C, we love Type Cs, they're always good. There's the instructions, guys, if you want a quick read. Usual rammel that comes with them. Surprised it's actually in English, that makes a change. Good thing I like about these little lanterns is they're just so cheap and they're just great for what they are. You don't need to spend mega amounts of money, and they're safe as well. You can have them in the house, and if you knock them over like a normal lantern would be, like with a paraffin, things like that, you're just not going to knock them over, and catch fire on anything. They're just going to be so safe. You knock that over, you just pick it back up again. You might crack something, but it still works, especially in emergencies and stuff. And I had a blackout the other day, and I just thought, you know what, I don't have enough lights for things like that. My fridge and everything's covered. I do have generators and things like that for worst case scenario. Generally, the power comes back on within the hour or so. We have had the odd time where it's been off for a couple of days. All they seem to do is just knock a bit off the bill. Well, that's no good for anyone. I'm losing all my food and things like that. I can't wash, can't clean, the boiler don't work. You need little things like this just as backups and stuff. And I keep loads of these around the house in the shed and stuff. Just great to have. And I just seen this was another TikTok shop buy, and I thought, oh, these are great. I'm going to buy a few of these lanterns. Again, LED, love LED, the micro LEDs. I did a review on one a couple of weeks ago. You've seen that on my channel. Go check that one out, guys. That's a really good one as well. That one doesn't have the solar panel like this one does, though. This does have the option of two, so you can just have USB charge or solar panel. Do like a solar panel. They're not the best, but for a little top up, worst case scenario, it's charged up and then you just leave it on a windowsill somewhere and it does charge up. It does have a little battery indicator there. You might not be able to see it on the camera. There it is. So it does tell you when it's charged and things like that. I do love USB-C again, guys. I love them. And it looks like this, fingers crossed, might be a removable battery. Another one. So the review I did on the last one, that's exactly the same setup as this. And this is what I generally try to look for. Removable, rechargeable batteries. Nothing more I hate than getting to a light or some sort of product where it's rechargeable, but inside you can't, remove the batteries in case the battery, explodes or breaks or just stops charging altogether. Batteries don't last forever. And that's the one thing I hate about most products. But a lot of them now seem to put these 18650s and everything, and I'm loving it. This one actually does have writing on. The last video I did doesn't. So it's nice to see a battery with some writing on. It just tells me the milliamps per hour. 3.7 volt, as we know. This one's 2200 milliamp. Not the best, but it's not the lowest I've seen. So that should kick out a lot of juice, really. And as you've seen in some of my other videos where it comes to my blue car headlights and things like that, they last for hours. And I have a review, a 14-hour review on one, on the little lantern they do. 14 hours, it's just fantastic. The other one that I did of this a couple of weeks ago, that does 12 hours on maximum light. So half light, it's still not bad. I prefer modes when it comes to lights. Not a fan of dimmable stuff. It's nice to set the mood and things like that, but sometimes it's just nice to have a set mode. So roughly it's on low or it's on high or flashing, SOS, etc. That's the only thing I don't like. So when I try to do these reviews, I try to do them as good as I can and set them to either full light or half light as roughly as I can get it. It's never going to be full on, low or medium or high, because it's just, it's not. Problem is, it's just not to the point where a mode is. But that's quite nice, bright light. So that's straight out of the box. That's really bright. It says 1,000 lumens, but who knows? I can't really test lumens, unfortunately. I can walk around the garden and things like that at night in the house, but I mean, that is bright, to be fair. That's pretty blinding. Decent white light. Again, my other one that I did was warm white. I do prefer the warm white. Some people like bright white. Some people just like the normal cool white. It is what it is. It's personal preference. But again, for emergencies, these things are great. I do like the construction. It is pretty strong. I do like how they put these mesh little grills on them. They are plastic, but £7. What do you expect? Solar panel. Always like to see a solar panel. The problem is with these solar panels, they're all generic and they're not the best. It might not even last, a couple of years, but it's something just to stick on a windowsill. If you've charged that up and you leave that for an emergency, if you've ever got a power cut at night time and things like that, just leave it on a windowsill. It blends in pretty well. I mean, we have plants and things on our windowsill, so you don't really notice it that much. In the event of emergency and your power goes out, especially things like for kids and pets and stuff, when you're going upstairs and hallways and landings, they're just always good to have just a little light, just so you can see the steps and stuff, because you just don't want to be falling down steps in the dark, and it's more of a safety thing. It's just nice to have the extra backup lights, especially when, if the power grid goes down, you've got to worry about your food and, you can't wash and things. You have to have a wet wipe, let's say. The last thing you want is to be just chucking a load of candles everywhere and then having to watch them, and you've got to be careful with them, with pets and kids and things like that. I have candles as well, as most people do, but sometimes it's just nice to have just that little bit of extra backup. And the good thing about these is you can just hook them up and just carry them around wherever you need to go. But I do like this. I thought this was going to be pretty cheap, like the last one that I did, but they've turned out both to be really good, to be fair. Again, not sure how long the batteries last. We'll do a little test on this, see how long it does actually last. I'll give it a full charge before I do it, just to make sure, because you never know how long these have been sitting around in a warehouse. And I mean, this could be 4 or 5 years old, this product. It's been sitting in a warehouse in China, then it comes over on a boat for 6 months, and then, it ends up on our shores for another 6 months. You don't generally know. But these do come in two different types, and I thought I'll try one with the battery and I'll try one with a solar panel, because I don't mind doing solar panels sometimes. This I like about this one is the last one I did had an extra USB socket. Now that's good for charging phones and things like that. It does say power bank, but you're not going to get much power out of an 18650 battery, guys. You might get it to 10, 20, even 30%, but smartphones now, they take that much juice. You don't really generally get much charge. I prefer more the light, and I have separate power banks to things like that. And if worst comes to the worst and I don't have any power in the house, I can always charge my phone off the car, which would probably be generally quicker anyway, and things like that. But let me know what you think, guys. We'll do a bit of testing on it, see how long it lasts and things like that. But I think this is generally a great little camping light, or just an emergency light to have around the house. I do like lanterns and stuff. I think they're great. Torches, lanterns, lights, anything like that. That's always great, especially with a USB. And an added bonus is a removable, rechargeable battery, which is always perfect. Because if this fails to charge, eventually it might do, it might not, it might last years. Might prove me wrong. Never had one fail yet. But if this ever fails charging unit wise, you can always stick them in a battery charger and then charge it back up and then put it back in again. Away you go. That's just a great little idea. I prefer them. I always look for stuff like that. Some batteries you can remove, some you can't. It is what it is, unfortunately, but I do like the way they seem to be going with this at the minute. I think that's a great idea. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. We'll do some testing on it. Again, please like and subscribe. Watch the videos to the end. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. You might not like the video. Just give me some feedback on it, guys. If you've got them, you know any better ones. I mean, there's always better ones out there. But just let me know. For cheap and cheerful, a couple of these around the house, or when you go camping, hook it up in your tent and stuff. You can't go wrong, and it literally weighs nothing. It's fantastic. Let's get on to testing. What do we think? 13 and a half hours? It's not the best. As you can see in the testing that we did, it was literally, dim as anything. You couldn't see anything. Didn't edit the video when I should have done. Should have took another one just before the 13 and a half hours. It gave up around about 12-ish, which if you look at my other video of the lantern, which is this one, it's pretty much the same. It's about 12 hours, give or take, which is pretty good, really. So, I mean, this one says it's 24 hours. This one doesn't state anything. On half light, I could probably see it achieve it. I tested these both on full just to see. They're really bright. They do both say 1,000 lumen, but unfortunately, there's no real way I can test 1,000 lumens. But I think for £7, I thought, I think this was £6 or £7, pretty decent. The solar function works. I'm not sure if you can see. There's a tiny little red light on there, guys. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video. But the solar panel does work. And it's really good. And it seems to be putting charge back into it again. And it's gone back on to being bright again. So it is slowly charging up. But once this is charged, for emergency uses, and even camping and things, once it's charged, stick it on your window ledge. So it trickle charges itself all the time. I think this is great for emergencies and things. I'm always a bit iffy about these solar panels. They never seem to work right, but really well, this one. It just seems to really work. So I thought for £6-7, you can't really grumble. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you have any sort of lanterns and things, and what you use and what you recommend. You might know something different, or other ways of things, and lights or whatever you've got. I'm going to try and do some sort of competition with these, because most I've seen to have got out of any single light or lantern is 12 hours on one sort of like this one. I did a video on the blue car little lanterns, little tiny small lights, and that went on for 14 hours, and that was brilliant. So at the minute, the record's about 14 hours. Not managed to get anything past that on a single light, and that was really pushing it. So, but they were smaller LEDs. These ones seem to have the same small LEDs, but a lot more of them, so you can see where the the power goes. But if you guys know of any other lights, or anything like that, or you use, let me know. If you can beat 14 hours, I'd really like to know about that, because if we can get some other ones that go a bit longer, it'd be great to find out. Thanks again, guys. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.